Assalamu alaikum. My name is Iqra Shahab. I am psychologist, teacher, and a trainer. Today I will just brief you about depression, what is depression, and what is neurological basis of depression for this seminar, obviously. Okay, so usually you heard this words depression or depressed. I'm depressed. He's depressed. So depression is a very common word, um, but depression is different than stress, different than tension. Depression onset is 2 weeks that you have prolonged sadness or prolonged tension, or you lost activities once it was very daring to you. Now you have lost activity, lost that interest in those activities. Like, you liked music but you don't like music at all now. You want to hang out with friends. Now you are very antisocial. It is loss of everything or gain, like gain of your weight or loss of your weight, having too much sleep or having no sleep. So depression may be different in different person. So depression is very common disease, and it is a medical illness. Like, people say that it's not a medical illness, and people around you stigmatize you or stigmatize that depressive person, that he's insane, he's not doing normal, although they need help. So it starts negatively affecting your thinking, your memory, your decision making, because many of your brain parts, brain structures, and many of your hormones are involved in depression. So when we say about brain structure, brain organs, or hormones, then we are talking about medical side. Then we are talking that depression is a medical illness. It is not something that is about your personality or environmental changes. Yes, it can be the cause of depression, but the root cause of depression is your obviously brain. Now I will tell you that which brain parts are involved in depression, and some depressive symptoms are also the suicidal ideation. It leads to suicidal ideation because of some kind of hormonal changes. Nearly 6.7% adults have this depression. Every one of 6% experience depression in their life, once in a life, and it strikes in any age, but late teens or mid 20s is the average age for depression. Depression is more in women because of the more hormonal changes after delivery or post menstruation. They feel depressed, or they feel so it just hinders their daily activity, and their mood swings are very often. So the most important part of brain that is involved in depression is hippocampus. Hippocampus regulates our memory, regulates our emotion as well, but hippocampus release certain kind of hormones that we call cortisol, and cortisol is involved in memory making, in emotions, and decision making. So there are many PET scans, fMRIs of depressive person, and it showed that depressive person hippocampus has just shrunken down because of more stress. Okay, then amygdala is in the prefrontal cortex. Now, if your hippocampus, it is in the central part, and your amygdala is in the prefrontal cortex. So when you talk about prefrontal cortex, it means that you are talking about decision making. You're talking about the emotions that are involved, like in anger or in fear. So it is violated by all these brain structures. Amygdala activation is more in depressive person. However, hippocampus is slower down, or cortisol is releasing more neurotransmitters. Next thing, that cortisol is also involved in uh, production of new neuron. So when the release of cortisol is increased, so it inhibits the neuron making or neuron production that is involved or that help us to flourish our brain over and over again. So one thing, hippocampus shrinking down, your central part of brain is not acting properly, your concentration gets distorted, your amygdala is not normal, its activity increases, and it's because of its inactivity it is like more or less production of new neuron, which hinders many emotions. Okay, and you cannot process your information, that how you have to react in certain task or in certain situation. So now I will tell you about the different neurotransmitters that are involved in depressive person. There is acetylcholine, which is also involved in memory. If acetylcholine is not regulated properly, then your brain memory and concentration can be distorted. In depressive person, serotonin level is very low, so the main suicidal problem or suicidal ideation is because of serotonin. So for that purpose, medicals or psychiatrists give SSRIs that are serotonin reuptake inhibitors. So dopamine is also involved in depressive person, and dopamine is like you have to manage dopamine. It shouldn't be very high, it shouldn't be very low. So dopamine is again a very crucial hormone that has been seen in depressive person, that is very very low, and it should be normal, and it can distort thinking. In much worse cases, it can cause psychosis, schizophrenia, hallucination, and delusions. So it is the main hormone that is involved in our thinking and perception. Then a gamma amino acid, it is inhibitory neurotransmitter, like some are excitatory neurotransmitter and some are inhibitory, like SSRIs are inhibitory. So GABA is also inhibitory neurotransmitter, and it is also involved in depression. So glutamate is another excitatory neurotransmitter, and for that purpose, when glutamate level is so high in depressive person, so a medical specialist give you treatment of lithium that can just make you stabilize your thinking and your concentration. There are also different treatments here, like convulsive therapies. The convulsive therapies are electric shocks and other such kind of therapies are given by the psychiatrist in worst cases, in major depressive disorder, or in bipolar or dysthymic depression. So depression is very common nowadays. There are many reasons, there are just not one reason. We start exaggerating over simple problems, over simple stresses. We cannot cope up with daily stressors, and we start generalizing it. So we should not generalizing everything. And the people around you who are depressed, or if you are depressed, seek help, go for help. There's nothing to be ashamed of. If you are depressed because of some very personal problem, you should go and you should talk about it, until and unless you get yourself into trouble, more troubles, and you found out yourself nowhere else. So in depressive person, they are helpless, they feel helpless, that they have no one, they feel worthless. um, so go for help. There are a lot of people, good people around you. Just seek help, tell your story with trust, build reputation with people. I know it's very hard for a person who is depressed to socialize or to talk about anything, but it is very good if for your health, for your well-being, to just spend a normal life like a normal beings, to talk about it and to seek help. um, if you have suicidal ideation, that is the red flag, that is very harmful. um, Go and seek help from medical specialist. If not, then go to your friend whom you trust, go to your parents. Start resolving your problems in every day. And depression is very severe condition of stress or tension. So if I'm talking about to the people who see people around them are depressed, give them hand, give them shoulder. Don't judge them, don't stigmatize them with negative labels, because it lead them towards death, and that is very tragic. I don't want, or any, nor anyone will want that their partner or their friend or the person whom they met a few days ago, now he or she is not among us. So it is really tragic, it's really stressful, and it's really hurtful. So it is a quote of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that if you save one human, it is like saving whole humanity. So our religion